Hi, welcome back to the Island Plan. This is the second video and the first one where we'll be looking at questions and some of the big questions surrounding this plan. So the first one really that I'd like to address is land on a Scottish island even available to ordinary buyers? This is quite a big one for me, one that I've not yet looked into, and something we're going to look into today on this video. It could also be the last video in this series, because if you can't buy the land, then this idea dies, and the options become far fewer. So I'm going to have a look at whether land regularly comes up for sale, whether it's listed publicly, and whether it's available to buyers from elsewhere in the UK, or whether you have to be resident of the island or have some sort of connection to the island to buy that. And are there any unusual ownership issues, any legalities of land on a Scottish island that differs from the rest of the UK or the mainland? As I say, and I've said in the last video, I genuinely don't know these things. It's still an idea, it's still something that I hope is achievable, but we're going to work through it together. So I'm now going to switch and let's do some desk research. So before we dive straight into the research here, once again, this is quite nerve-wracking for me. I genuinely don't know whether it is possible at all to buy the land, however much it may cost, and if I were able to buy it, can I build? So it's huge, because this is make or break. Question one, only the second video in what's intended to be the series. Is the land out there? Is it for sale? If it's not, then we're done. It's completely back to the drawing boards. What do we look at next? But let's look and see. So the first thing I'm going to do, anyone in the UK will probably be familiar with this website, Rightmove. This is where estate agents list property. It's like a directory for multiple estate agents, and it's a safe bet that most property will be on here. And if we can find the property here, it means that we could definitely go to one of these islands if we identify the right one and speak to local estate agents, speak to local people, and find more land for sale. Second point is probably why I've picked these certain islands to look at. So the islands we're looking at today are the Isle of Arran, the Isle of Mull, and the Outer Hebrides, particularly Jura. I've picked these because I've got experience with those islands. Mull and Arran, I visited family holidays as a kid. Jura, I'm not going to lie, I like the whiskey. The distilleries on the island, I'd love to have an excuse to visit there. So, I guess we'll start with the Isle of Arran. It's geographically the closest to me, and alphabetically, so here we go. The Isle of Arran. And there we have it. So we're looking to buy. On this second screen here, we're looking for land. Not interested in pre-built. We're looking at land for the opportunity. And wow, straight in, 1.2 million. So let's not let that freak us out too much. There's land here for sale. How many listings? 39 results. So that's a positive. There is land for sale on Arran. It looks like these are general sales that anyone could buy. So those are two big ticks. There is that land. It is possible to buy. Looking at these, 1,316 acres. It's probably a little bit more than I need, but wow, what an amazing opportunity for somebody. These next few look to be, these are all homes, like actually built. So, not sure why they're appearing on the land searches, but we'll skip past then. And here we go. Offers over 200,000 for a plot. Excellent. Plot 18. So, there is slight alarm bells there for me. I don't really want to buy a plot. Yeah, so here we go. Plot 18. I don't think you can see it there. Oh, here we are. Plot 18. It's a nice plot. But that's on an estate. You're buying a plot to build a house. I would be highly doubtful that the project we're looking at, putting cabins on there, putting bees and chickens on there, that the other people on this estate are going to be happy with that. So that wouldn't work. Let's go back to the results. What's the next one? So these three all look to be the same. 200,000, yeah. Oh, you can see in that small picture, they're all plots again. Not really viable for what we're looking at. Yeah, these all look to be very similar. Probably not what we're looking for as far as today's project and what we're hoping to do. Let's just check this last one. Yeah, that's more or less a pre-planned small bit of land to build. So I guess for the Isle of Arran, there is land for sale, but it's not what we're looking for. It's not going to work for our plans, which is a little bit worrying, a little bit disappointing. May need to adjust the plan if Arran is going to work. So the next one we'll look at is the Isle of Mull. So not as many results here, but let's see what we're looking at. So, okay. Residential development property with planning. Prime development, 3 acres. That's interesting. Plot 3. Again, plots concern me. So, we're seeing a lot of land with planning permission already in place, which makes me feel encouraged that planning is possible. These all look way more remote and price-wise much more realistic. Let's pick one to dig a bit deeper into. Let's look at this one. So 1.2 acres. In my head, I thought maybe 2 acres was more what we needed, but that is purely a number plucked out of thin air. Interesting, these look like some sort of log cabins on there, although they almost look like they're AI rendered. Let's see. It's a very nice beach there. Okay, so the property line doesn't extend to that. So yeah, it's a small patch, but £95,000. Let's see. Let's have a look at one of the other ones. What's this one? 125,000. Prime residential plot. Interesting. Only, less than half an acre. Too small. Keep going up. Here we go. 3 acres before we even clicked in. So 175,000 for 3 acres. There is already planning for this house, which looks lovely, but that's not what we're here to look at. Let's look at the photos. Wow, that's a nice view overlooking the sea back to the mainland, I believe. Ooh, telegraph poles. There's the telegraph or electric. Oh wow, there's a lot of them. There's posts along the roadside. 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 maybe on the land. They could be a hindrance, but what a location. Got a little valley, little gorge running through there, which I would guess there's a stream, which isn't a bad thing, running water. A house up there, so services are possible. Lovely view of the sea and mountains in the distance. You know, looking from the perspective of potential hikers or tourists coming to let the houses. That looks beautiful. The plot here, we've got drain. Issues. Don't know what that means. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, that's positive. And again, from the tourist aspect, let's have a look at the map. Let's see what's around. See if tourism would work. Oh, well, there we go. So we've got Otter House and Owl Lodge. So there's two tourist hotel type things there. I'd have to look them up. Oh, there's a campsite, caravans, and another one there. So tourism is here. There are people coming. You've got these purple icons, which are points of interest or particularly nice views. We've got lots of them surrounding the drop pin there, which is this property. Yeah, that looks like there's a lot going on. So those of you familiar to, oh, there we are. I was just going to say, looking for Tobermory. So those of you who were watching kids television in the early 2000s, Tobermory was quite famous for its very colourful cottages, which featured on Balamory, a TV show. Again, just up the road there, which is nice. That's handy. So tourism-wise, I'd say that's a big tick. Location-wise, I mean, having the sea right there for a view, the hills behind, the loch there for hikers, quite ideal. So, yeah. And as we saw back on the main search, nearly 20 properties, 17 results. Options. Much more achievable prices and a little bit more remote than building plots on multiple dwelling properties. So I would expect the relevant planning permission would be much more achievable. So far, Arran, possible, but maybe a bit too pricey, too restricted. Here we are with the Isle of Mull, much more what we're looking for. So the last one I wanted to look at was the Isle of Jura. Let's see. Oh, so just the one property. So let's take a look at that. What are we looking at? 2.02 acres, so about right. I mean, that's a stunning view. Right on the beach by the looks of it, with some little cliffs there, but that's stunning. That's an excessive arrow, but okay, the site is there. Good to know. Another beautiful view, though. Ah, nice. So thank you, Terry Roberts, drone survey. So we can see here the marked out area. It's a good plot. We've got some woodland here. A house next door, the road, beach just across. That's nice, 2 acres. And yeah, a lot going on there. A lot of potential. I like it. But £350,000. Quite disappointed there's nothing more on Jura. I guess what we could do, I'm just going to open this search up slightly because it's quite restricted where it was looking there. So let's zoom out a little bit and we will draw around these Outer Hebrides islands here that I was particularly interested in and see if there's a little bit more available. There we go. So on Jura, not a lot. But looking down here, there is a few more options. So I'm drawn down here because, again, sticking with the whiskey theme, Lagooglin. There's a beautiful distillery there, some nice whiskey. So let's see what you get for 150,000. Wow, 4 acres for 150,000. That seems quite good. 4 acres building plot, expansive views over the peninsula, electricity close by, but we'll hopefully put solar panels, so that doesn't matter. Water from a borehole, drilling 2024. Now that is interesting. So not necessarily for the tourism aspect, but from the point of view of the second part of this plan, which is should my family need somewhere to go to get ourselves away from any sort of crisis, having water from a borehole that isn't requiring the grid, isn't relying on other sources, is a big plus. More drone photos. I'm guessing this is the patch here, this mode area. So yeah, surround, we can see the seas and hills in the distance. Yep, lots of land. There's a lot there. That's nice. Lots of beautiful views. A farm and some dwellings nearby. Yeah, that could work. Oh, and there we are. There's the shape and interesting. 150,000 for 4 acres. Again, we don't know how planning will be there, but there is options. There is options, and then it'd be rude not to look at what you're getting down on this peninsula for 75,000. That's far less. So you're getting an acre from the estate for £75,000. That's an absolute bargain, but it may not be big enough. Again, more research needed. It does just look like a field, a grass field on the edge of the port, which I guess has its pluses and minuses. I will say what I'm encouraged by is you can see in the background there, that property appears to have solar panels. So that's somebody, once we're in a position to go and actually visit and speak to people, I'd like to speak to that person to see just how much electric they are getting there and if it's a worthwhile venture. But yeah, interesting little plot and a very interesting price at 75,000. So I'm going to say it's possible. I'll say Arran, maybe a stretch. It does look like the property there is a little bit too expensive and a little bit too restricted, as in most of them already had very set plans. They were in small plots of land near other plots that were being sold, which could be restrictive. Now, what I've not done, which I did on the Isle of Mull, so a quick have a look here is, yes, this is way cheaper, and there are other accommodation around there, including a pub, which is never a bad thing. But is there any of these lovely purple points of interest that could draw tourists in? So we've got one there, and it's looking a little bit absent. Oh, yeah, another one there, the cool tombstone circle. So there's a couple of things, but not exactly awash with points of interest. The other property we were looking at was around here, and yeah, still a couple of points of interest. Oh, there's a RSPB reserve. That's good. An American monument. Interesting. I'll have to look at those. But we are seeing plenty of accommodation B&Bs, guest houses. So I'm going to say, for me, we've got the Isle of Mull and the Isle of Islay. I'm probably saying that wrong. Please do berate me in the comments as potential. But for now, at least, I'm going to have to rule out the Isle of Arran. So Mull and Islay, potential. And that's encouraging. So cost-wise, we're looking at maybe £100,000 to £300,000 to get the property. We need to be very aware of the tourism and the potential pull around there. Got to remember this has to work as a business, so people have to be able to get there. I mean, looking at the Isle of Islay here, you've got the Port Ellen, which has the ferry, this dotted line, so that works. People can get there back and forth from Kennercraig there. And going back to the Isle of Mull above, I know that's quite well connected from Oban. Yeah, the Oban ferry goes across there. We've got another ferry here. Remember, the property was around there. And Tobermory has ferry access, so a little bit more connected on the Isle of Mull. Rather than just the one ferry, you've got multiple. Oh yeah, there's two. Sorry, both coming from Kennercraig. But options, that's the important thing. Not ruled either of those two out. So we're looking now, the Isle of Islay, the Isle of Mull. There are catches, there are positives to each. And next episode, let's dig a bit deeper. Let's focus on those two islands and let's see what else we can find. Look at some of those points of interest. We're going to look at the cabins themselves in upcoming videos. We then have a lot of other questions we need to answer. But the exciting thing for me, the positive thing for me is it is possible. There's two islands there with multiple properties available, with good connections, with good tourist hotspots. This could work. This could work, people. I'm encouraged. I hope you are too. Please, if you want to come along for this journey with me and keep moving forward and look at what's next, please do like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all.